unleash the irreparable destruction across the land, sky, and sea. All things living will live no longer. Blech. In the time since the silence, your world has lost knowledge of the Kriegan's origin. That they resemble the devils of myth have been enough for you, and indeed, quote-unquote devils is what most call them. The truth is, they came from beyond. Before they attacked us, my masters had no knowledge of them. The Kriegans infest our worlds and spread if they can. It would seem in an endless universe that they could expand in another direction than ours, but they have not made this choice, so we must defend ourselves from them. Kriegans. I am aware that the King and Queen of Enroth have rid your world of Kriegans. Still, your world is to be destroyed. Once I am called, I must perform the convocation. Once the convocation has begun, it must continue. I was called while Kriegans still lived on your world. It matters not that they were dust by the time I arrived. Yes, your world does need saving. The cataclysm, if not stopped, will destroy it utterly. A quandary for you. I, as bringer of the cataclysm, know how it can be ended. Further, I acknowledge that since there are no longer Kriegans on your world, it need not be destroyed. But, as servant as my masters, I am compelled to let the cataclysm continue by not divulging my knowledge to you. Still, I will ask you some questions. Perhaps there is something for you in the answers. Oh, riddles. Great. Riddle 1. Where does one serve to pay is not free to leave, but is free when one leaves? Where does one serve to pay is not free to leave? It would be jail. You're not free to leave. You serve inside of jail to pay, and you're free to leave. You're free to leave jail. You're free when one leaves jail. Yes, your answer seems to fit the riddle nicely. Perhaps it is the correct answer. Okay. Riddles. Why am I answering this freak's riddles? Though I must destroy your world what I need to I have already done. Until the cataclysm is culminated, there's nothing to stop me from indulging you. The conversations cannot continue forever. Nothing does. Sometimes questions create more questions. Sometimes provide answers. Okay, riddle 2. What is there when you enter a room and cannot be outside though you leave the door open? What is there when you enter a room and cannot be outside? What? What is there when you enter a room and cannot be outside though you leave the door open? What is there when you enter a room and cannot be outside though you leave the door open? What is there when you enter a room? I must be thinking of this weirdly. 1 second. Let me think. What is there when you enter a room and cannot be outside though you leave the door open? Darn it, I can't think of it. You enter a room. I don't know. It's so open-ended that it's impossible to solve. What is there when you enter a room and cannot be outside though you leave the door open? I don't know. An open door. I don't know. Well, what is there when you enter a room and cannot be outside? Indoors? I don't know. When you enter a room and cannot be outside, but you leave the door open. I don't know, viewers. If I screw this up, I don't understand. What is there when you enter a room and cannot be outside that you leave the door open? An exit? If you enter a room and you can't be outside, I would say it's an exit, because you enter a room, you're not outside, and you leave the door open, you have an exit behind you, so... Well, up yours, Escaton. Let's try riddle 3. A moon-colored box meant to be opened from the inside protects a sun-colored treasure of life. What is it? A moon-colored box meant to be opened from the inside protects a sun-colored treasure of life. What is it? Oh, an egg. Alright. So what's riddle number 2? What is there when you enter a room and cannot be outside, that you leave the door open? Enter a room and you can't be outside, you leave the door open. Come on, you gotta get one more riddle right. The rest of the world hangs on your decision of being able to answer one stupid frickin' riddle correctly. Enter a room and you can't be outside, that you leave the door open. You enter a room, you can't be outside, that you leave the door open. A doorway? You enter a room and cannot be outside, that you leave the door open. I'm sorry, viewers, I don't understand this. I'm trying to think of this in a lateral term, but it's not even working even then. You enter a room and cannot be outside, that you leave the door open. You enter a room and cannot be outside, that you leave the door open. I would think it would be a doorway. I'd think it would be an exit. I'm probably thinking too much on the leave the door open part. Hang on. There's probably something in that you cannot be outside, though you leave the door open. Did I say indoors? No. Indoor? No. What is there when you enter a room and you cannot be outside, that you leave the door open? Oh, a closet. Just... I don't know. You leave the door open? Dang it, I can't think of it. You enter a room, you cannot be outside, though you leave the door open. Oh, I know that the answer is right there, and I can't figure out what it is. Enter a room, you cannot be outside, that you leave the door open. It's... You know, I don't care if I have to upload, like, a whole hour of me sitting here trying to figure out this one stupid riddle. Me watching Escaton trying to... Enter a room, you cannot be outside, though you leave the door open. If you you enter a room and you cannot be outside though you leave the door open, you are in a... I don't know, I can't think of anything, viewers. Tell you what, I'm gonna have to... I'm going to go ahead and stop the video recording right here, and whenever we come back, I will have the answer to this riddle. Nothing. No, it's entirely wrong. I know it's entirely wrong. Alright, I am going to try to solve this riddle on my own, and whenever we come back, I'll have the answer to that final riddle. So, I'll be right back, viewers. Sorry about this. RPG is just that stupid. See you in a bit.